All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Team No Sleep. We in the building. Let me get the mic right. Oh my God, my mic is not in place. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. November 20th. Montel Allen. He over there playing with his camera. Lord have mercy.
Make sure
You
we
know,
right, bro.
driving through bombs, cyclones, and typhoons out here in Northern California and in California in general. Pacific Northwest. Shoot, we going through it right now, but we here.
We here, man.
We like Deion Sanders and them Buffaloes. We was coming, but we here now. we here now. God tell you. Listen,
Absolutely.
everybody probably see a little something different in terms of the layout. Yes, we are streaming in vertical format. We are streaming to Instagram now too. Right? We got folks out there. So what it do? Key and Squirrel, I see you over there, Scott. Appreciate you for joining, brother. So let's go ahead and get into it. We got a handful of stories. We didn't get really a chance to dive into them and talk about them beforehand, but you know how we do, man. That's just what we do. Let me first of all say hello to everybody jumping in. Seniors here, the story. That means we official now. Brother Stark is in the building. There we go. Hope you are doing well too, man. We always like to refresh and talk about stories that we've talked about in the past, and there's been some news that has come up recently as it relates to the situation out there at UVA, right? So the person, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., has pleaded guilty to multiple charges in court today as it relates to the fatal shootings that he did over on the UVA ground. So the fact that the man pleaded guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated malicious wounding, 5 counts using a firearm during the commission of a felony. What he did was bad. What he did was wrong. Yeah, he took people's lives. Pleading guilty. I'm actually glad he did plead guilty.
Why is that? Explain to
Listen,
me why that.
if you did the deed, man, come on. No sense in walking around and trying to be, I'm pleading insanity. I'm innocent. Everybody got a camera. We see you doing it. We know you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Yeah.
right. If you man up and own up to your deeds and your consequences and face the justice system, whatever the case may be. So what are your thoughts though? Again, so just morning, the man pleaded guilty to all these charges.
My thoughts on it, I'm glad the family gets some type of closure. That's number one, right? They get some type of closure. This gentleman's not trying to fight it in court. He said he did what he did, and unfortunately, he took those other young people's lives and hurt some other ones. So I'm glad they have culture. They have closure.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, I would still have the eye for eye attitude, right? You took my kid's life. Your life needs to be taken as well.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not. You notice I didn't say nothing about sentencing. I didn't say nothing about sentencing. Yeah.
That would be me. That would be me. Okay, that's all good and dandy and all because there's 90,000 witnesses that saw you do what you did. There's cameras and everything, and okay, that's one part of the closure. But then also, when you're dealing with your kid and all that stuff as a family or your siblings or something like that, we're human, man. We are human. I know we're supposed to forgive, but it's hard to forgive when somebody took somebody they love from you. Unfortunately, and instantly when there was opportunity when they didn't have to. I always put myself in the mind frame. Those kids were all doing the right thing before they lost their lives. They're going to college.
Yeah.
They're trying to be successful in life. They're educating themselves in a higher learning to get themselves ready for the workforce or maybe play professional sports or whatever the next endeavor happens. They're doing the things that we've been taught that are the good things to do in life, and they still lost their life. They went out there selling drugs. They went out there on the corner. They went out there fighting. They wasn't doing any of those things, and they lost their life. That would be the pill that I would have a hard time swallowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that part, great, you pleaded guilty, but it doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. It doesn't move me in the way.
It doesn't bring back Deshaun, Lavelle, and Devin, and the others. Doesn't bring them back. Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough, and that's tough, man. But I hope the families can get some type of closure, some right type of resolution. My prayers are still with them to be strong through this whole process and everything going on. But like you said, if you don't give him anything, at least he owned up to what he did, and he's it's time to people to hopefully can move forward with life.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's true. We'll see. What do you guys think in the comments there? So the first degree murder charges and aggregated malicious wounding charges each carry a possibility of 20 years to life.
Yeah, but they're gonna run concurrent. They're not gonna run. Yeah, so it's all the same. So you get charged with one, you're serving at the same time you're serving for all 5 crimes. So that's probably what they told him, to give him the plea out instead of him going to trial and making this a lengthy process, a long process. A long process.
Montel over there using big words, y'all.
Yeah. I only want to say a lengthy. I still can't pronounce it.
Lord,
a long process is short, but to prevent that long process going on, he probably pleaded out. They probably said, you know what, the terms of your deals, if you plead guilty, your terms or your crimes will run concurrent.
Yeah.
So what people don't know, that means if you get charged with 2 crimes of 10 years, that 10 years will be time served for both crimes, all the crimes that are calculated. So, yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I hope it brings the family some kind of closure. But I don't know, man. There's still a lot of healing.
It wouldn't bring you and me closure if we were in that situation, and God forbid, hopefully we never are. It would not bring and we just speaking real. Yeah. It would not bring us closure.
Only time is gonna bring closure, and I'm still gonna have a lot of animosity, regardless.
Yes. Yeah.
Period. That's true. That won't go away. That won't go away. That's just being 100% true to myself.
Yeah. So we'll keep watching it and see what happens with sentencing and see what happens. But like I said, we like to come back and refresh on stories that we've talked about in the past. Shirley P, we see you in the building. Appreciate you for being here, my friend, as well. This story right here is just coming up. We keep talking about this situation. We keep talking about these circumstances, and we've talked about this school and this team before. San Jose State Volleyball, right? Got a transgender player on the squad. Okay. The school district, all of that, the administration, AD, letting the transgender athlete play. What's happening is, and you guys recall back from our previous stories, is that, okay, they're letting the player play, but nobody wants to play with him. Right? Everyone's forfeiting. They taking the L. Okay, you know what? We're gonna have an unbalanced competition. We just gonna take the L. We just gonna forfeit whatever, and you get the win, whatever. That was a couple of weeks ago. Here we are now. This is as of 2 days ago. The captain for the volleyball team is saying, "Listen, we tired of not really playing, and we tired of being the negative spotlight. We actually want that player off our team." Now that speaks volumes. You and I can say something. The AD can say something. The administration can say something. Everyone else around the place can say something. But when you get the players that are actually in the locker room saying, "Look, this ain't right. This ain't fair. It's not equal. It's not whatever you want to call it. You need to go find another team. We want you off the team. I'm the captain of the team. A whole bunch of us have signed a petition saying we want this individual off our squad." Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, wow. It's crazy. Me and you've been, again, we've been discussing this since day one, so we just knew this was always going to happen. And now we're coming to a situation where not only is that individual affected that's going through the process of transforming and wanting to compete and do all these things, but now we're seeing how it affects, when it comes to a team sport, how it affects the team, right? It's okay when opposing team is going to forfeit one game, 2 teams forfeit their one game, but now teams are refusing to play, and now it's affecting those 14, 15, 16, 17 other college athletes because they don't get a chance to compete or play at all. It is. They don't get a chance to be able to showcase their talent in front of anybody or the things they work so hard all their life to do, to be able to participate because the disagreement about this person's gender, as they're going through the transformation, or they went through the transformation. I think that NCAA is going to have to get involved, man. We've been saying this for I don't know how long. They have to get involved, and they're going to have to create another lane. It's going to have to be men's, women's, and then mixed competition at that level. And that's just my belief.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong.
Maybe I'm closed-minded, but again, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
No, and that's my opinion. I don't know anything about the NCAA. I don't know how they're doing it, so I'm just giving you my opinion. They're gonna have to come up with a third category for them to compete, because, and I shouldn't say for them, for the transgender person to compete, the male with the female, and vice versa. They're gonna have to figure out another lane to carve that out, and then. But I think what we're gonna run into problems with that is now we're gonna run into the legal issues with Title IX. We talked about that as well. Title IX has to be equal across the board, right? And they got to figure out some layer, some language, how to incorporate that in. I think they thought it was just going to be easy to say, hey, you go play with women. You know, when you're transgender, you go play with women, and women are just going to accept it. Hey, you're a transgender woman, you become a male, you're going to go play with males, they're just going to accept it. Well, we're finding out no one's just going to accept it. They're not. They're actually standing up saying it's unfair and it's not right. And now this is the ramification, and San Jose State is going to be the poster child of it. However San Jose State reacts is going to set a precedence.
It is.
Period.
It is. This is that earth-shattering move that we've been talking about ever since before the Olympics, right? This actually, I think, is even more relevant than any news agency, any blogger, and anybody external saying something about this type of activity. Like what Tony said right here. He says they are due their respect as players. And when you've got the captain for the volleyball team and others on the squad filing a lawsuit against the school and the conference, demanding that one of their teammates be blocked from upcoming tournaments. That speaks volumes, and that you got to pay attention to. Again, I don't know.
Now, where do you stand as a school? Where do you stand behind the team? Or are you just standing behind this person?
That's what I was going to say. I don't know. I don't know where the school is going to go, but they better do it right. They better make it right.
They got to
come up with the right decision.
Because think about it, the next transgender swimmer is going to come up. This lawsuit, this is going to be a reference lawsuit in a reference case that's going to happen to say we want that person removed or we want that person added to the team, right? It can go either way. Now, we haven't thought about the countersuit. Is the transgender player, is she going to sue the school for saying you're not allowing me to participate?
Oh, that's going to happen.
You granted me permission once, and now you're taking it away from me. So San Jose State is in a they're in a lose-lose situation, right? There's no win-win. Because if you say she continues to be on the team, you're going to lose the rest of the team. If you say she can't be on the team, you're going to get a major lawsuit and a lot of backlash from transgender people in the LGBTQ community about why all of a sudden you pulled her from the team and you didn't hold your ground. They're going to catch it either way. So for me, I would ask the governing body of not only San Jose State, but the Mountain West Conference, as well as NCAA, they need to get involved. This is a point where they need to get involved and set some precedents. And
you can't hide from it anymore. You can't hide from it anymore. And what's interesting, hey, Tony, we see you as well, man. You saying, listen, Southern teams are not going to participate, right? So there's going to be more backlash or outcry or forfeiting of games and tournaments and things like that as you start branching out, right? Once you start going to the Midwest, once you start going to the East Coast, just once you start going to Texas like that as well. I'm just saying, those teams, those schools are outright going to just say, we don't want to participate. NCAA has to do something. Or could San Jose be removed from the conference?
No, I don't think they can be removed from the conference. I mean, you gotta really analyze.
And we don't know, because this is new ground. This is like NIL, right? We broke NIL the night before the launch, so who knows?
Yeah. Remember, we're in California, arguably the most liberal state, right? And we're having a problem within the most liberal state. We're trying to figure out how this is all gonna
in the Bay Area, in the Bay Area of California,
in the Bay Area, which is one of the most liberal, which is arguably the most liberal city in the world, right? I mean, it's all about equal rights, and all those good things that go along with it,
which is cool, which makes sense, which we love that. Yeah.
So how this plays out is going to really set the tone of how these things are going to happen. Now, I hate to bring up politics, but we're in that political realm. We've already heard what his our newly president or newly elected president's thoughts on transgenderism and how things are going to happen. He's already spilled it. I don't need to repeat it, but he's already said some things that aren't in the most positive context of things. So because this is going to go to the Supreme Court, I guarantee. This is not going to local court. It's going to get appealed to go to the higher court. It's going to get appealed again and go to the highest of all courts. It is, because this is one of those type of moments, right? This is one of those types of moments, like, it could fall either way, positive or negative, or how you feel about it. But this is going to go all the way up. I promise you, it's going to go all the way up. Because
this will be a precedent setting that in 5 years, our young nieces and nephews will be studying this in their high school and in their college, because this will be one of those groundbreaking decisions that comes up.
And this is how college sports decided to integrate or segregate, athletes. Period. That's basically what it is.
We're back to that conversation about integration and segregation. We're back to that conversation. Lord have mercy.
Back in that conversation.
Wow.
So this is crazy, and it's kind of upsetting that other outlets aren't even talking about this. Because this is a big. I
was going to bring that up, brother. I was going to bring that up, right? Because this is the real deal.
Yeah, it's the facts. Everyone's trying to avoid it because they don't want to have the uncomfortable conversations, but they need to start having uncomfortable conversations so people can be knowledgeable about what's going on, and get a better understanding of the grip instead of just hearing secondhand things of what's going on. They need to figure out, trace the steps in the timeline that has happened, because, again, this is new ground for everything, for everybody. Everybody that's involved in college athletics, this is new ground. It's still new ground in high school athletics, right? They're still trying to figure out at the high school level. Pop Warner level and lower level when they're kids, we kind of let it go, right? Girls play for tackle football and so on and so on, and we kind of let things go. But now we're entering into this world where now college is big money involved.
Yeah,
big money involved, and especially at the Division I level, Power 4 level. A lot of money now involved. NILs involved. TV deals are involved. TV coverage is involved. You got a lot going on, and somebody's going to have to figure out how not to upset the masses and let all these individuals participate in their sports.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that no one else is, as you say, no one else with even a larger platform. Our platform is dope. We out here. Listen, I know we dope because we got Miss Feener on the line over here on Instagram. So I know we made it. Now I got my good friend Christy Feener watching, but. The fact that this story right here, again, we've talked about this since day zero before the Olympics. And now, again, the captain of the team is saying we have an issue with this individual being on the team because we having a forfeit. We're not being able to compete. We can't go out of state and compete with schools like in Texas and other places on the East Coast. And things. We can't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. Right. And then for this to be in San Jose, again, a very liberal portion of the most liberal state, this needs to be talked about more on the ESPNs and the CNNs and the Fox Sports and things of that nature, as opposed to just us carrying the horn and carrying the banner. I don't mind taking the responsibility, because we've done that with NIL, we've done that with this as well. But the importance of this issue, people pay attention when this actually, like you say, gets to the Supreme Court. When there's more legislation and more stuff like that, when it gets to that point, that's when people will start paying attention to these particular issues. Y'all speak on it in the comments. Come on.
I'll peel that onion back even more. People pay attention when it comes to money. When the money starts to be affected, that's when people are going to start paying attention to it. And let's be perfectly honest. Volleyball is not a high generated revenue sport in San Jose State. It's just not. It's not. So I think people will be able to turn their head. Oh, okay, it's going to be fine. It'll work itself out. Well, now that the team is saying they're going to sue the school and sue the conference, and those team members and all that are going to do that. Now money's going to be involved, because guess what? That's going to start to draw attention. That drawing attention is even going to put more eyes on it, and more money's going to be affected, because now that affects the next transgender that wanted to go to Nebraska. That affects the next transgender person that wanted to play sports at UCLA. So all this stuff, and I guarantee you, every AD and legal department and those things are looking at saying, I want to see how this is going to play out. Because we got to figure out what we're going to do in case this starts to happen in our school. And what's going to happen. Because even though San Jose State is not on the big platform, no one's really paying attention because they don't garner a lot of TV time. Let this happen at a USC and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. So let me pause you right there because Christy Feener, good friend of mine. I used to work for her. I used to work with her back in my security days, right? When I was
Mhm.
doing event services, and she's making a statement. I had to bring magnometers to these events because of all the uproar. So there's both sides are showing up. If she's got to
Yeah,
bring security in for the fans to keep the fans safe and also to keep the athletes safe and to keep the coaches safe and do all right, if she's got to do that from perspective of the event staff that's there to protect the principals that are actually playing or performing or whatever the case may be, when
Mhm.
someone mess around and get hurt,
Oh yeah,
if
yes,
a dad on the other squad messes around and comes out there on the field or on the court and tries to attack a transgender player, nobody's in the
yeah.
right. But then somebody again, that's going to be on the KCRA 3 news, and then we're going to have a problem, right? Because again, now
I
you
think we're
got
gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem either way, man. So, without NCAA setting some precedents and drilling that down the line through their universities and schools,
yeah,
and letting there be a free for all like NIL, which they've already made. They've already said NIL is a big mistake. We did it the wrong way
yeah,
because it's out of control now. If you don't grab your hands around this and put some legs and some framework around it, so things in those incidents don't happen, we're gonna run. They're gonna run into a lot of lawsuits and a lot of problems with this because we already know this is not going away. They want transgenders want to be able to participate in sports.
mm-hmm.
They do. We have to be able to.
Rightfully
There needs
so,
to be a
rightfully
platform
so.
for them.
Let's
Yeah,
set
yeah, and
that
rightfully
precedence
so.
right now,
Absolutely.
right where you and I stand.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. They let them play.
Yes. But there's not a platform for them.
Yeah,
What that means, you need to create a platform because and I said there is now, that's not saying there is a platform, but the platform that is existing there is very resistant for them to play in it,
and it doesn't work, and it doesn't work. So, like
and it
Shirley's
doesn't work
saying, open
because
a third lane, open a third lane, and
yes,
again,
you got to open a
there's
third lane.
not an issue in my mind. Again, just and I think in your mind as well, and y'all in the chat and comments say, uh, opening a third lane for those sports does not seem like a negative or a put down. But there is a question again out of what Shirley is saying: how many is enough? How many sports do we do that for? Do we do it just for volleyball? Do we do it for baseball? Do we do it for football? Do we do it for
I think
swimming?
you do
We've
it.
had the
You do
conversation
it
about
for
swimming.
yeah. You do it for as many as you have enough people to participate and compete at it.
Wow.
If you got a team, if you can have enough that fills a basketball team, 13 that want to play basketball, and there's 13 in Boise State, and there's 13 that play in New Mexico, and so on and so on. And they can have active competition and play. Then you start a league for all of them. I think if they want to play lacrosse and so on and so on in their lane, then you create those lanes for them. I think this is my problem. NCAA has been lazy, and they've been lazy for years. Lazy. And you can quote me on this. They've been very lazy. They don't want to get their hands in front of anything and be proactive or do anything to jeopardize the money they're currently getting right now. Let's be perfectly honest. Their hand is big heavily in football and men's basketball and now women's basketball. They don't want to do anything to rock the boat. And unfortunately, when you talk transgenders participating in sports and integrating with sports, it rocks the boat. It rocks the money. And they don't want to rock the money. But unfortunately, at some point, you're going to have to rock it. You're going to have to do something to make the change because remember, the two sports we've been talking about predominantly have been swimming, it's not a big generator of money, and volleyball, not a big generator of money.
Yeah.
When's that crossover coming when it comes to basketball?
No,
Because I'm gonna
don't
tell you
let
what's
your
gonna happen.
son
And
want to go out and play on the UConn squad with Paige Beckers. That would be a problem.
It's about,
Okay.
and that's exactly what's about to happen.
Yeah.
When is that transgender going to cross over into mainstream Division I women's basketball? That's when we're gonna start having a problem.
Mark the words, folks. Mark the words.
I mean, and I'm not saying that to be in a negative sense. I'm just speaking in fact. That's where the problem is. That's where you want to see for the front page of ESPN and all that stuff. Wait till that happens, and it's happening. It's going to happen sooner than we think. And if you're school, and think about this: if you're a school that doesn't have a lot of popularity, that's not getting the notoriety, want to do that. I'm sorry, just for the purpose of getting notoriety and getting yourself out there in front of the media and making something more of a popular school, recruit a transgender player that's playing a Division I basketball and try to enforce that they're playing the women's basketball, see how that happens, see what goes from there. Because that school automatically is going to be on ESPN from now on. They're automatically going to get TV time. They're automatically going to get money. Until somebody starts to argue, say that's a difference. And don't let that transgender person go in there and dominate. It's really going to be a problem at that point.
That's going to be a problem then, right? Because now you're filling seats in the stands, and now we got more W's than L's, right? It's harder to counter that because it's always about.
And then you have people. Then the fence that me and you're on, you're gonna have everybody on that fence now.
Yeah.
Some gonna say they shouldn't be playing. Some say they should be able to participate.
Yeah.
Why is this unfair? All the arguments that we've had on this show, those will start to come out big time because now that small, instead of being a small volleyball and small swimming, which I'm not negating as far as they don't create a lot of general revenue, get to that big level of women's basketball. We already know how big it is right now. Huge. They will be all over the TV. And if a school really don't want to make a name for themselves, they will do that. And unfortunately, that's using that person just to gain notoriety. They're going to use that person and use that person's sexuality from transformation in order to gain notoriety as a school.
This is an uncomfortable conversation, which we have built our platform on, and I'm glad that we are the ones that are having this conversation. Hopefully, folks that are watching, we got a gang of folks watching on all the platforms. If you're new, appreciate you for joining. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I got a question, Jason.
Yeah.
I thought we knew somebody that knew someone that was a transgender athlete that we was going to get on the show, so we could kind of ask these uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, we do. You know what? I can't do too many things at one time, right? I'm a little seasoned in age, so let me just remember that, and I'll write that down, and I'll reach out to them, and we'll see what we can do. But that's dope. Yeah, we'll see if we can get some more folks on here to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to get their perspective and their insight on how they feel about the situation and where does it need to go. Like where does NCAA need to go with this? How does it need to be played out?
Cool. Tell you what, before we go to this next story, I want to engage and ask the audience again. Now that we're streaming vertical, now that different aspect ratio on different platforms, Instagram Live and X and all of that, let us know. Are the comments showing up properly? Can you see the comments, or do I need to make them bigger? I just want to make sure that you're getting the same experience. I just looked at all the analytics and saw that the majority of folks are watching the show on a mobile device. So we're going into a virtual mobile video type of world. So we are moving with the times. And listen, we got Mr. Cox out here doing all the moderation out there. He's telling people, come on, like, subscribe, do all the things. With all of these other teams forfeiting the games, that should strengthen San Jose's case. What should strengthen San Jose's case is the captain of the squad leading the lawsuit. But I hear you too, Marvin. Yeah, I hear you too. That's true, bro.
It's like, dude, where do you go? Do you go with your team that's been there, the girls that have been there, or do you go with the opinion of what you think is maybe right and allowing a transgender to play on the team? I think that's something for the courts are going to have to answer, because San Jose State, I think, whatever ground they stand on, it's a lose-lose for them as far as the volleyball team participating and figuring out whether you think it's the right thing or not. It's a lose-lose, because if you go with saying, we want transgenders to play, which I'll repeat myself, if you allow the transgender to play, you're going to lose your team. If you allow the team to play, you take away the right for the transgender to participate on the team.
God, that's tough, boy. That's tough.
And you're in front of the media, and somebody's going to have to speak to the media every time something happens. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. I'll commend San Jose State. They've been standing by their team taking these forfeits. They've been standing by. We're not wavering. We're not going. But now it's an internal problem. It used to be us against the world. Well, now it's the world and the contaminators in the inside, and we got to figure out what we're going to do in order to make it work. So I think that me against the world attitude is kind of gone and dissipated, because these other players want to play. They want to go somewhere and play.
Love it. Mr. Cox, appreciate you for the feedback on there. We'll get all of those aesthetics dialed in. Tony is saying, let the courts decide play or removal of that player. So we will see it. It's another one that we're going to continue to monitor and figure out what's jumping off. All right, let's get into this next one. We can't We can't not talk about it. We can't not talk about this boxing
Man, yeah, we
thing.
can.
I don't need.
Yes, we
I'm
can.
not calling it a fight. I'm not even calling it exposition. This thing.
You called it a car, huh?
Oh, bruh, listen. I tell you what. I would okay.
Exhibition. Yeah, I got you. I'm with
I
you,
guess
man.
let me
I'm with
start this. Let me start this. Right, I was so
you.
nervous beforehand. I asked my wife. I was just pacing back and forth. I have a dad over here too. We were watching. I was like, man, just don't let Mike get hurt. Don't let Mike get hurt. 58 years old, fighting a 27-year-old. He might come out there. As Mike was coming out the tunnel. I don't know if you saw, and I caught this. He tripped as he was coming out the tunnel
Yeah.
too. So his legs was already not right. And he had the injury, and he had the wrap around his knee. I was like, "Oh Lord, Mike don't look right."
Oh man, you know what?
Well, hold on. But then the first bell rang, and then Mike had one of them flashbacks, and he was like, "Man, I'm about to come get him. I'm about to." And Mike won that round one. Mike won round two. But then apparently we find out subsequently that there was a little hush hush negotiation at the contract that. It goes 7-8 rounds. Nobody gets knocked out. I get 20 mil. You get 40 mil. We all look good. We all take pictures. And so it was just an experiment to see if Mike
Fraud.
could.
It was fraud.
I can't even look at you when I'm saying what I'm saying.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you being long winded, man. It was fraud.
I'm over here making it up on the fly too, because it was
the two fights before that. Now wait, they could have just did the two fights before that, and I would have been cool. Them two fights before, I don't know the people's name, but the guys fight,
yeah,
that one, and then the women's fight right after. Even
the women one that was the fight.
Yeah, those are the fights. Mike Tyson fight. Look, Mike won. Mike won regardless. Mike got for 16 minutes worth of work. He got a $20 million payday with a $5 million bonus on that. He made $25 million on 16 minutes of work. I'm proud of him. Right up to the sunset with your check, Mike. Good. Jake Paul, thank you for giving the opportunity and paying him $25 million. It's all good. But let's call it what it was. They bamboozled us as fans, because that fight right there. Whether Mike was tired or not, or whether he was ready to go, or whether it was whispers or how it goes like that, bottom line, man, they weren't up and open and honest with us, and it wasn't. I don't think it was a true fight. Period. It was just whatever it was. They went in there and danced around for 8 rounds, and they both got paid.
It was a business transaction. It was a business
Yes,
and we knew something was wrong when Mike backed away from the uppercut, because Mike could have put Jake to sleep if he wanted. In that first two rounds.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say he could put him to sleep, but I'm saying,
come on,
if it was a true boxing match,
yeah,
that fight wouldn't have lasted. Because if they were both going brawl for brawl like those fights before, if they were doing anything like those two fights before, somebody would have been knocked out.
Yes.
Whether it been Mike or Jake. If they'd have went toe to toe like that, but they weren't going toe to toe like that. They weren't fighting like that. They were dancing around the ring. I don't want to say it was a fraud, and I don't even care if it was a fraud. I'm happy Mike got paid.
Yeah,
and he walked away and escaped.
He made that journey from going through his health issues and being everybody. If you're an old school cat like us and you know about the stories of Mike, I mean, my wife was even asking, why did Mike go to prison back in the day? I had to tell her some of that stuff and the health issues just to get up and get back in that ring and to hear that bell and then charge. Now, I will say the loser of the fight, they both won. But the loser of the fight was Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Good Lord have mercy, Netflix. Yes. Come on.
Yeah,
all the people that signed up for Netflix and we going to have all it and the show Mike's backside like that. See, okay, come on. Let's get it.
I don't even care. That's all theatrics, man. I think Netflix, they need to get their stuff together. They want to have live events. You need to be prepared to take that kind of audience at once to be able to streamline your event. That's number one. Number two, I'm sorry. That was a WWF fight or WWE fight that Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. That shit was all WWE. And you know what's crazy? We appreciate WWE because we've all watched the WrestleManias of the world and did all that. So advertise it as it is, man. Like, please, I don't like being bamboozled. Like, don't tell me it's gonna be a fight, a boxing match, and it's not. It's WWE. There'll be some things going around, some circus stuff going around, and then you guys will have your event. It'll sell out anyway, and we good to go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not even gonna condemn Jake Paul. I'm not gonna say he's a fraud. I don't think he's a fraud. I think the guy can actually box a little bit. I don't think he can fight with the professionals, but he can box a little bit. I do appreciate him giving a 58-year-old man an opportunity to make $20 to $25 million in 60 minutes of work.
Yeah. Now,
so y'all can, if people can say what they want to say, they can talk about everything, and we can talk about his fraud and everything. But at the end of the day, Mike Tyson won, and he's not my hero, but he's a guy I really admired back in our day. He was a guy that was part of our culture that was growing up, and I appreciate now that he can ride off to the sunset. Pay the money he got that night is the money he should have had a long time ago and deserved.
That is true.
To ride off to the sunset. So
I'm
all good with it.
I got to feel so. You still respect Mike as well?
Yes.
As well, right?
Absolutely.
I have much respect for Mike, and I'm just so glad again that he didn't get overly injured. I was cringing every time I saw him wheezing, in the middle of the rounds. I'm like, come on, brother. I was like, all they doing is throwing water on you, brother. You wheezing like that. But
no, Mike
I don't think Mike's done though. I don't think Mike's done. No. I think he's gonna try to go back out there and do some more.
He's not. And it was a genius, man. I started thinking of more. In Genius, they had it in Texas, right? There's no state tax in Texas. So Mike gets to keep a large portion of that 25 million. He's gonna walk. He's right. Mike, they did it the right way to have him right off in the sunset. And if that was the design plan by Jake Paul and them, or it just happened to enter the divine, kind of make it happen that way. Cool, man. I'm glad it happened that way. Good, man. I'm glad. I don't mind spending my little $15 or $17 a month on Netflix in order for me to watch something like that for Mike to go ahead and walk away with that money.
So see, and Chrissy's over here saying, that's 60 minutes of her life that she never get back.
True. I mean, it's not, but guess what? As soon as Netflix picked it up, that money was going. You as an individual chose to watch that 60 minutes of debacle if you didn't want to see it. I mean, I told you I was going back and forth with the Warrior game, so I was entertained the way it was going.
That's true. I was me and my dad and we were locked in watching, and I was nervous, just wanted to make sure, but it was.
Hold on, okay. I got a question for you. For you. Okay. Those two fights before the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, were they worth your $16?
Listen, I would have paid for that. I would have definitely paid for that. I was deep into those for sure. Yep. I was watching those with no hesitation. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So people say they get their money's worth and they were mad and robbed. You weren't robbed because we got two boxing matches that were probably epic. Actually, two of them might be fighting. They might be up for fight of the year. The way those guys are going back and forth, especially the women, the way they were fighting back and forth. So you didn't get robbed. You didn't get the outcome you wanted. That's what it was.
Mad. We mad. Just let us be mad for just let us be in our feelings for a minute. Come on.
No reason to be mad, man. Mike is good. We good. We all healthy. We all lived another day. We were healthy enough to watch 60 minutes of that BS. But hey, we good. It ain't like we never. You can't tell me. Nobody out there can't tell me they didn't pay some money to a movie theater, spend $50 and waste a movie on a bad movie.
No, I've been there, done that. That's true.
Exactly.
Make it plain, Pastor. Make it plain.
So, hey, man, just chalk this up to one of those. We get about 4 or 5 of those in our lifetime. This is one of those
chalk this one up as an L right quick. And like Kevin is saying, them Paul brothers, right? They come from content creation. They come from marketing. So everything that they do is an event. I mean, you saw their iPhone in the car as they were coming out and they were recording video. You saw old boy spraying the whatever he was spraying, the aerosol all over the place.
Cologne and all that stuff. Yeah, to promote it.
Right. So promotion is all good. Capitalism is alive and well.
We can't be mad about it, man. I really don't like talk about it, but I mean, like I said, I don't care about the Mike Tyson fight. Those two other fights, top notch. I'll pay to go see it. If those two matches was another rematch, I would pay top dollar to go watch them two matches. I would actually probably pay review to watch them fight again. Those two fights, because they were that good.
Okay, well there we go. We got a little emotional on that, but we got. I love it. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. My mom says, "Oh my, I didn't know you are." Yeah, mama, I'm on. Mama jumped on too. I'm on, mama. I'm out here in these internet streets.
Yeah. Come
Let's
on, make sure I say what's happening.
yeah. Let's talk about Unrivaled, because I like my women's basketball
Mm-hmm.
just like you do. And today they released advanced tickets. They sold out.
Yep.
So they said, you know what? We're gonna do it again. We didn't think we were gonna sell out. I know that's all a marketing ploy. We didn't think we were gonna sell out that fast, so we're gonna do another pre-release, I believe, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Teams have been identified. 28 out of 30 players have identified. No Caitlin Clark. What you think about that?
Well, she's got that.
She ain't playing. Well, again, she may, but right now the speculation is that Caitlin ain't gonna make one of the squads.
Yeah, she might not. Yeah, be all right.
She out there trying to golf.
Caitlin is living her best life, man.
She's doing it. and listen, I got much respect for Caitlin Clark. She stirring it all up.
Yeah, she's out. She's arguably, like we talked about so many times, she's changed the face of WNBA. She's changed the face of women's basketball in this modern era. As being such a good player and being Caucasian, those all go hand in hand. Her being great, and she's living her best life. I like Caitlin because she's not being distracted by anything except for what she wants to do. She's not allowing outside.
That's a good lesson right there. Say that again, man, because that right there, let's not gloss over. That's a good lesson for the youngsters out there.
Yeah, she's not allowing outside entities to sway her opinion on what she wants to do. She's doing what she wants to do and doing it her way. I commend her for it. People are throwing her money at her. Big Three threw $1 million at her. Other people throwing millions of dollars at her, and she's like, "No, I'm dedicated to the WNBA. I've signed there. That's where I want to be. That's what I'm gonna work on my craft, and I'm gonna develop my brand within that bracket." You gotta salute that, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Just because other people decide they want to go do it and jump on another ship and do that, doesn't mean she necessarily has to. She's her own individual, and I like that. She's not. She's going against the grain, and that's about time they need to do that. And there's no time and error. You don't need to do everything what everybody's doing. Do what you want to do, and be all right with it, and be comfortable in your own skin.
There's a lesson for the day right there. I knew we were gonna have a couple of lessons right there. I agree with you 100%, and I also agree with the premise behind Unrivaled, because after Brittany Griner. After Brittany Griner going over there overseas, because she's not making any money, because none of the athletes were making any money around here, so they had to go overseas to try to make ends meet and to continue to play the game that they love and all of that. Now to have it at home, now to have it to where they've got equity in the league as well, I think it just makes sense, and it makes sense for the individuals that dependent on their own situation. Caitlin Clark, again, she's got her own Wilson basketball. She's got her own basketball.
Yeah,
first year.
Caitlin's in a different lane. Not only, obviously she's a superstar basketball, but she's in a different lane financially than a lot of those players.
Yeah,
she's in a different lane, so she can afford not to have to participate in off-season basketball and still be able to have a comfortable living and lifestyle that she wants. And that's okay. Like I said, she's doing her own thing. There was a lot of outside pressures to have her play in this league. I remember that. They were all like,
almost definitely.
And she just she's declined. She declined, and I think her having an unpopular opinion is a good thing. She's going against the grain. She's like, I'm gonna just do what I want to do and make it that way. And then all of this at the end of the day is gonna make the WNBA that much stronger, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I love this league. I think this league is going to do amazing. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't have the financial backing like the WNBA does, I don't know how long the sustainability is going to be there. We've seen it with other leagues. We've seen it with the USFL. We just seen it recently with the USFL and the UFL.
Yes.
Right? They had the Rocks league, and then they had to merge just to be able to stay competitive. And from what I understand, they're having financial hardship now. It's really hard for them to struggle to get where they need to get, even with TV time and all that stuff. So if this league doesn't have the right financial backing, I don't know how long it's going to be sustainable. I love it. It's like an all-star. It's like an all-star summer league.
That's why I'm putting the names up here right now, and they got the right people in place from various head coaches. You got Teaspoon out there, head coach for the Vinyl, and she got some stars on there. So all the right people are in place.
It's an all-star summer league. But again, me and you both know, at some point at the end of the day, it's got to come down to dollars and cents. Can it be financially stable?
Yeah.
Can they have enough financial backing to keep it continue? Now, we just talked about her the last week. Whoopi Goldberg jumps on and say, "Hey, we're gonna televise all your games."
Now that would be
and
dope.
Jump there.
Yeah, because you talked me off the ledge of that one. Yeah, because I was like, Whoopi Goldberg. Okay, but that would be dope.
Whoopi Goldberg's network jumps in on this one and say, "Hey, we're gonna start televising all these games. We want to be the person that brings us to life on TV and on a national level where everybody can watch." Now you got some. Because that brings commercials, that brings more revenue, that brings all that stuff. So,
come on, Whoopi, get with Unrivaled. Get with Unrivaled. I like the comment even that Marvin said. Marvin said, "Looks like we were talking about Caitlin. Looks like she has some good people in her camp, and we've talked about that a lot, right? Protecting the bag, making sure you surround yourself with the right folks." But back to Whoopi. Yeah, come on, Whoopi.
Get some of this Unrivaled. Get on that, man. I mean, they did a pre-release. They sold out. Whoopi should be the first one there, so we're gonna televise all the games. Yeah. Whether we're going to go live with the games or we're going to televise them, after the broadcast, not live or whatever. But she should be the first one to be on there signing the contract with that league saying, "I'm going to televise your games live. And we're going to rock with it."
Make that money. Make that Whoopi Gold, make that color purple money. God, I know she's still cashing residual checks from color purple.
She need to give Team No Sleep a couple of checks.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Listen, come on.
We've been promoting her network for the last couple of weeks. She need to cut us a little something.
Again, I'm gonna give you some flowers, man. Right? We've been, and y'all know the folks that have been rocking with us ever since day one. We've talked a lot about things that don't make the front cover of the news, but sure enough, it's important and it's relevant because it comes up. Right, and we just, I don't know, we got that instinct, and just saying, we just real cats that talk about things and have those uncomfortable conversations, like Montel always says. Man, somebody, y'all better recognize. Tell your friends.
Yeah, man.
Tell your friends to join in with the Team No Sleep family. Let's see.
We need that Team No Sleep platform. I'm gonna speak into existence. We need a Team No Sleep platform on Whoopi Goldberg's network. That's what we need. Like they got Revoke. We should be on Whoopi's over doing Team No Sleep and talking about everything we talk about, from transgender to women's sports to things that are controversial to everything. We should be on that network. I'm not saying nobody else. I don't care about anybody else. We should be on that network, rocking it out.
Yeah, done. We're gonna make it happen. We'll talk about that at the Super Bowl this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure enough, you're right. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right, listen, man. Let's do this. I want to talk about one more story, and then if you had something, but I want to be cognizant of your time, as we say. One of your favorite athletes, back to women's basketball, killing it, killing it. JuJu Watkins, I'm a Paige Beckers fan. UConn number 5, undefeated. I'm Paige Beckers. She's gonna go number 1 in the draft. She's going to Dallas. That's let me have my moment for a minute, and then I'm gonna bring you in about JuJu. But JuJu Watkins at USC has. I didn't even mean to bring this one up yet. Hold on. I didn't mean to bring this one up. This one right here. NBC Sports debut On the Rise, JuJu Watkins docuseries later this month, actually on the 23rd. So in 3 days. She's got this docuseries coming out about her. She's killing it down there in Southern California. And I already preempted it, but now she's already got her own Funko Pop. I'm going to pre-order this Funko Pop. I can't get it until next year, but she's got her own first active collegiate athlete to have her own darn bobblehead, Funko Pop.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Truth. That's pretty cool.
JuJu is the truth. As they say, if you was buying stock, we were able to buy stock in JuJu, I would encourage you to buy right now. Because she's just the truth, man. She's just, and like, I've seen like several always interviews, and you talk offline about it. I've seen several interviews, man. The way she just handles herself, like she really has that personable demeanor about herself. And I remember, I don't know if I said it on here, but I remember telling the story about how she stops. There was a young lady that wanted to take pictures. She stopped everything that was going on and grabbed the young lady and made sure not only did the young lady take pictures of her, but she took pictures with the young lady as well, and gave the young lady her phone number for her to call. So she's really in tune with her fans, and she's really grounded, as her parents would put her. And on top of that, she's very, very talented. So that's all the winning combination. And now she's winning in the business world.
Yeah.
Who's ever USC's NIL director, man, shout out to them, because Caleb Williams just got paid when he was at USC, when he was a quarterback. Now JuJu's getting paid in basketball. So if you're a top athlete, I think you need to go mess around with USC, because they NIL is cashing in for real.
They listen. They making dividends. They cashing checks and doing it the right way.
Yeah,
and you're right. I mean, because we never hear anything negative about someone like a JuJu, right? We never hear her out there in these streets doing whatever. And she's having fun. Look, she down in Southern California. She's going to school. She got a couple of dollars in the pocket. She got everybody want to hang out with her. But the fact that, the story that you just mentioned, I can say hello to people out there on the street. I can have a conversation. I don't have to put on any airs. I mean, that's not fake, and that's not fabricated. And I think that's going to transition as she goes even further on in her professional career.
We have to remember, this is a 19-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She's 19 years old. So she's 19 years old. She's doing all these wonderful things. She's traveling the world playing basketball. She's one of the top players in the country. She's going to be one of the top players in WNBA when she decides to make that leap and go there. And for her to be grounded, for her to take care of her family, for her, to be embodied by the city of LA and be able to give it back. She doesn't shy away from signing an autograph. I mean, man, she's just got a lot of really great things about her as a person that we want to see in our child. We want to see in our own kids. She's got that, and she's a multimillionaire doing it as a young age, at the age of 19, man. So shout out to her, man. Not just her basketball acumen, just her as a person. Shout out to JuJu. I hope she continues to have success. But if she was stock, brother, man, we would be buying. We'd be doubling down right now. It ain't gonna double rise. Yeah.
That's it. We be combining assets to make sure. So check this out. So the series will debut before USC plays Notre Dame on the 23rd, and it'll be on NBC and on Peacock. So y'all check that out, because I think that's gonna be dope. Now, you scrunched your face up a little bit when I was talking about number one going to Dallas. Who you got? Well, who are you already positioning somebody? Because WNBA had their lottery.
I think JuJu's gonna come out. JuJu's coming out early, dude. She's number one.
Stop that.
Why? Why is that so far fetched? Why do you think that's far fetched? She's gonna dominate. Look, USC and UConn is on a collision course to make it in the NCAA finals.
I just think she has more impact.
Okay. Huh?
I just think she has more impact right now at USC.
Who?
JuJu.
Oh, JuJu?
Yeah.
Oh, she does.
And let her come out with no question number one next year.
I mean, if she decides to stay, yeah, that could be. She has an option to, but I think her game is right now so far advanced that if she has anywhere remotely to the success she had last year as a true freshman, there will be nothing else for her to accomplish at the collegiate game. If she wins it all, there's nothing to accomplish at the collegiate game. It's time to go pro. Because the money's going to
determining factor right there. If they pull it out and they win, that would be the determining factor right there.
Yeah. So I think USC has a good chance of winning. I think JuJu will be number one if she decides to go. Paige will be number two. And then everything else for the chips will fall where they may. That's why I scratch my face. I think JuJu's going to exasperate all the accomplishments and get everything she wants this year, all the individual accolades and team accolades that she wants. Maybe, except short, maybe winning the championship. I think she'll accomplish everything else, and she'll be like, I think it's time for me to take my game to the next level. And somebody's going to pay top dollar for her to go to the next level, because she's going to be a draw, either as big as Caitlin Clark or just as big as Caitlin Clark, or possibly even bigger.
That's exciting. That's exciting, man. Because I'll bring you the flowers again, man. You pulled me into the WNBA and women's sports, and I was like, okay, it's all right, but man, I'm hooked. Yeah, I'm about to buy this Funko Pop. I'm about to get some jerseys. I love it. I mean, I do. I love the excitement around women's athletics, women's professional sports right now. What's going on? So, we did what we had to do, man. We hopefully this was cool for folks that were watching. Again, multiple new channels. We branching out, folks. We trying to reach the community.
The The controversy story is a little bit low, but we are all right, man.
But they got beautiful, That's
shout out to my man Dame Lillard and them going through their problems in Milwaukee, him and Giannis and Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
We're going to switch to basketball for a minute. It's time for Doc Rivers to hang him up, brother. I think the game has passed Doc by.
Yeah.
As a coach, he's not a motivator anymore, and I think the guys he can't get the guys to respond the way he wants to. Unfortunately, Dame Lillard and Giannis is caught up in the middle of all that and the non-success. So hopefully they get that right over there in Milwaukee. What else we got, man? Coaching news. It looked like Deion is going to be the coach of Dallas Cowboys the way the media is portraying it.
Bruh.
If everything goes the way it goes.
When you got players from the Cowboys after they lose to the Texans going out and shooting a rap video. When you got CeeDee Lamb and Diggs going, I saw some clips today. I'm like, oh Lord.
Yeah, man. It's bad in Dallas right about now. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Jerry lost control. Jerry's world is gone right now. That thing lost control. I just think, man, there's a lot of small stories in sports right now. There's nothing boom or very controversial that we've talked about. I do though. Before we go, we sign off. I really want to make sure we look into that story about the young man that got the N-word carved in his chest to see what the status was of that university, that swimmer.
Yeah.
Me and you talked offline the kind of things that's going on, but we need to kind of get a definitive what's going on with that. Hopefully we can find something online, figure out what's going on and report back to everybody out there. But otherwise, man, it's been good 2 weeks of sports, man. It ain't been too much going on, which is good.
Yes.
Except, like I said, those little sparks, those little controversies and little things going on. But we good. We're on top of everything that's going on, I believe.
Take us home, brother. Take us home.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, first of all, again, wellness. Check up on your loved ones. Please do, because it's chaotic times, man. We're going to the holiday season. I was just looking at some stats now. Depression is really high now. It's at an all-time high on a lot of places, a lot of platforms. Just because we're going into the holidays, we had a new change in leadership as far as the president is concerned, and the financial uncertainty of a lot of people. So depression is high, man. Please check up on your loved ones. Please check on the people you love. Just give them a shout out, see how they doing, see how they doing. And then, like I always say, please, around the water cooler, get uncomfortable having uncomfortable conversations, because that's how we learn.
That's it, yo. We out.
Team no sleep, with champions meet. We're on the mic, taking over the game. No time for rest, no scrambling for fame. Talking sports, breaking it down from the court to the field. All around town, we stay up all night, grinding on the mic, bringing news, real stories on the fly. Montel's got the stats, James got the flow. Together we're two, I'm ready to blow. From NBA to NFL and the MLB, we got